All right, let's see who shows up. Eric Boodle, what's up? Yes, it's just me. Lee Harris, Seth, B-Rad. Whoa, the Dick Steele is in the house. Tom Anderson, I gotta get rid of the glasses again. Holy shit, Nelson. Impressive. Alright, they're going through so fast now. Independent Thinker, Noop 3700. Phew! Merry Christmas, Scott Berger. The Tom Corey, Betty Swain, what's up? Bert from PA. Jay Oswald, what's up? Hi, old man. Yeah, I felt like one the past few weeks, that's for sure. Poo Guru Plumber, woohoo. Hammered up there. You getting hammered up there, bud? Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm here by myself, because I'm not leaving the house, which is what I titled this. I texted Jimmy and said, no. I was just watching Ryan Hall, y'all, on here, the weather guy there. He was doing a live stream because this is affecting the whole Northeast. And of course, you get down to New York City, and if those people get 8 inches of snow, it's like the end of the world. So, but Woody Henson, I'm feeling better, but just not back to 100% yet. Zuri Rab, what's up? Zip, yeah, snowing in Ira, yeah. Plow just went by a little while ago, so they did get out with a plow, which I was kind of shocked. I thought maybe they'd wait till it was over, because this whole snowstorm warning, whatever you want to call it, is supposed to go through 4 a.m. So, hope you had a great Christmas. Yep, we did, Albert. Must be cold there. It is 18 degrees with a feels like temperature of like 8. You can ask anybody from around here. I think everyone's pretty much done with the wind. I mean, this is bullshit. I actually started doing a video this morning, and I held it for tomorrow to see how much snow we get. And like my "Are you getting it yet?" flag on the front of the shop, that's all tore to shit from the wind. And yeah, I've had enough of the wind. I think any of the locals in here would agree that we've had enough wind for this winter. Merry Christmas, Stephen Bennett. Yes, Merry Christmas to everybody. Hope you all had a good Christmas. We did, Adam. Thank you. Appreciate what you sent us. Are we still getting stories tonight? Yeah, we'll still do a Q&A type thing. So, don't know how long I'll be on, but Betty Swain, happy birthday, Grumpy's mom. Yep, we were over there earlier for my mother's birthday. We are praying that you all are getting better. Barb's doing good. Chelsea and I are still not 100%, but everyone I've talked to that's had this has said, like, the fever part, that's been gone and all that, but everybody said the cough and all that shit lasts for like 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah, great. Yeah. But I've also been 12 days now without smoking, so hoping that I've got that kicked in the ass. And I think that's part of, I'm also coughing up shit from all the years I smoked. I bet you still wish you had crops in the field. No, not at all. Not at all. Happy birthday to my mom. Yep, she's in bed, so it's not like she's watching. At that age, you go to bed early. She actually has been going to bed before like 6 o'clock lately. How about the new fire commissioner of FDNY? Didn't see it. Andy, hope your Christmas went well. It did. I don't blame you for hunkering down. I hope you have a wood stove in there. Continue to get better. No wood stove. Not much snow left in Minneapolis here. Well, our snow disappeared, which you'll see in the next video that I did, or am doing. We'll finish tomorrow probably. Because we got a shit ton of rain, and then we got those 3 days in the 50s, and that was it. Snow was gone, but now it's on its way back. Okay, bring on the younger grumpy farmer party stories. We had freezing rain here in Michigan this morning till around noon. Well, that's the funny part. When I was just watching that Ryan Hall, y'all, he was talking about how it was snow with, and they even said here, there could be a mix of freezing rain, but yet it's, 18 degrees with a single digit wind chill. Pretty sure right now we're getting all snow. Before it got dark, the hedgerow on the other side of the house here, looking out the window, is about roughly 75 yards away, and I could hardly see the hedgerow. Margaret Smith says, hubby had a cold, lasted a month from New Hampshire. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Adam, you guys got freezing rain then, apparently. It's snowing here, too, yep. I'm down in Fairfield, PA, getting freezing rain from it and watching Ryan Hall, y'all. Yeah. Cold here, too. Almost put on a short sleeve shirt with my shorts. Yeah, whatever. Smart ass. 70 here in Kansas, new record. Yeah, it's been weird. Jeff Remo there in Southwest Illinois was texting me. They've been in the 60s. Did I ever get my fuel reel hooked up? Yeah, that's been hooked up. I did a video about it. Double tap that screen, everyone, to add a thumbs up if you're just getting here. Yep, give your thumbs up, everybody. Warm in Florida, 70 degrees. Yeah, it's always warm in Florida compared to here. Butterbean, what's up? I've just been sitting here watching the bowl games, the not very popular ones, let's just put it that way, that are on. I see your farming hero finished beans today. Oh, yeah? Where'd you see that at? He's not my farming hero, that's for sure. He better have, because he's in the same pathway as what we are for all this snow. Don't mess around with illness at your age. Oh, don't worry. I went to the doctor. I was on antibiotics for a week and had me on a cough syrup that had codeine in it to try and help kick the cough, which it did kick it quite a bit. I still have it, obviously, but it's not the uncontrollable cough. In 2 weeks, get over the crud, just whine now. Freezing rain has stopped here in Alden. Well, as far as I know, we haven't been getting any freezing rain. I'm not about ready to walk outside and find out. I'm hoping we don't. I'll find out in the morning when I get up to, go plow, because I'm quite sure if it keeps snowing the way it's been snowing before it got dark, I will be plowing. Is the flu you have? I don't know what I had. Don't have a clue. Not like I tested for anything. You're sick, you're sick. Not leaving the house either in Northwest PA due to freezing rain. Yeah, I hope we don't get that shit. Lee Harris, 1 year and a few months smoke-free. All right, Lee, I hope to join you in a year. It hasn't been that bad. Of course, when you're sick, it's not that bad to not smoke. And when your upper respiratory is as bad as what I was, you try to smoke and it's just like, ooh, And I got some of those ALP nicotine pouches. They're not tobacco. It's just got nicotine in it. And I'm to the point, 2 or 3 of them a day is all I've used. I figured out that it's not so much the nicotine, it's the routine. I was reading about it too. It's like you get up in the morning, what's one of the first things you did? You went and smoked. You go out and you get in your truck to go somewhere. And what would you do? You'd light up a smoke. It's the habit of, having to have it in your fingers, and so if you get by doing those certain things at those certain times and not having to have a smoke, it's not been that bad, to be honest. Sir, there's a wild animal behind you. Well, I don't think he's going anywhere. That one's been dead since 1989. So, Carl, what's up? Here, when I want a drug, I have to look up the actual name of the drug and not the brand name. For example, Tylenol is called paracetamol, which is the actual drug name in Latin. Oh, yeah. 70 degrees in mid-Missouri today. Wow. Lloyd Nace says, I still smoke, even though when I was sick with bronchitis, I always would smoke. Well, I figured this was as good a time as any to quit. I've never smoked and had bad lungs anyways. Yeah, some people have that misfortune. Carl. I'm not even going to read that, Carl. It's a habit, yep. J-Dub, smoke-free since February 2022. Nice. Well, don't start, Betty. Lee's telling everybody to double tap the screen, get that thumbs up. Make sure you're keeping up with the COVID hokey pokey. Yeah, I don't think so. No, you can do that for me. How's that sound? I quit August 2023. The habit I was the hardest to quit. 2 years later, when I jump in my truck, I want one. Yeah, that's the thing. It's not the addiction to nicotine or anything like that. It's the addiction to the habit. It's like when I go over to the shop. I'm used to walking in the shop, lighting one up. Now I don't. So, oh man, get well. It's horrible. 6 days throwing up. Finally went to the doctor. They did several tests, blood and kidney tests. Said they couldn't find anything. See, I never threw up. I started feeling like shit that Monday that I loaded those 4 loads of corn there that I told you about in a video. May have been the last video or 2 videos ago, I don't remember. And that night, I just did not feel good. We were supposed to hunt the next morning, and I was going to load another load of corn. I texted the guy, I told him, I said, you need to find someplace else to load corn. And I texted my cousin, and I said, you guys go ahead and hunt the farm, but Chelsea and I are out. And I just stayed in bed all day Tuesday, and probably half the day Wednesday, other than getting up to go to the bathroom. But I never was sick to my stomach, but I was anywhere between, like 102.5 and 102.9 for a temperature for a good 24 to 36 hours. Ooh, excuse me. Yeah, Lloyd, I hear you. 30 degrees in southern Minnesota. The lawn crunches now. Well, ours is froze. At least that's the one nice thing. It got cold. Things froze. Now it's snowing again. I don't know how people afford to smoke cigarettes anymore. Expensive. Yeah, I agree with that. H Farmer. I smoked those little cigars. They were cheap. They were like for 4 cartons, which 10 packs per carton. I had them delivered for like $7 for 4 cartons. So it was less than $2. It was $1 something a pack, but still no excuse. And I'm not going to hate on smokers, don't get me wrong. I actually told Jimmy if we did this tonight together, I asked him if he would not smoke just to try and, I figured if I got to the January 30th live stream, by then I'd either have its ass kicked or it would have kicked my ass again. But and I told him I actually had a carton that I hadn't opened, so if he was nice and didn't smoke tonight, I'd give him that carton, but I just ain't going out in this weather. And like I said, I'm not 100% back anyhow. Lloyd Nace, I hate it when my fingers get over the screen and I get twitchy fingers. Sorry about that. Mark Calmer, stick to it. Stress will be the breaking point. Yeah, I know. But Crackter Green Machine said hi. That sounds like a new one. KTR Crackter Green Machine. H Farmer, it sounds like you have the rock and roll monia and the boogie woogie flu, Andy. Yeah. Hey, I just quit Small Switcher Sweet Cherry on December 7th. The habit is right, and I am having a hell of a time. Had to quit before spine surgery on the 9th. It's rainy season in Carl Land. So far, the habit, I don't know if it's because of being sick, but the habit hasn't, I don't know, it hasn't been as hard as previous times that I've tried to quit. Let's put it that way. So I'm hoping it stays that way. I just keep telling myself, my wife would always hate when I'd come in the house and I'd smell like smoke. Like when I'd come home from Jimmy's from a live stream, she'd tell me, take your clothes off and throw them in the hamper and put new clothes on because you smell like smoke. Again, I'm not hating on smokers because I fucking smoked for 40 years. But I'm trying to tell myself all the bad things and why I shouldn't do it. So, Lloyd says, I buy bags of tobacco for $16 for a 1-pound bag and 2 boxes of 200 tubes and load them myself. Found out helps me to quit because I don't make nearly as many cigarettes. I wish you well, Grumpy, on your journey. It's not easy, but you can do it. Yep. Yeah, I'm going to try. So appreciate everybody telling me that. Mad Swiss, what's up? Merry Christmas. Well, that doesn't sound like much fun there, Lando. You guys need to learn to use some streaming software. I want to add it to my podcast, but the internet isn't stable enough. Well, I was going to try and do that. I looked up how you can try and add somebody in because I was going to try to add Jimmy in, but I ain't smart enough to figure it out. What's this button here? If I lose everyone, I'll be back. No, that says pin to live stream, so we don't want that one. And what's this button do? Start a poll. No, we don't want that. Or start a Q&A. Well, you guys can Q&A me anyhow. So, all right, so speaking of which, anybody's got any questions? Let's hear it. The Dick Steele worked with a guy that when he quit, he would grab a club cracker every time he felt like a smoke. That's interesting. Yeah, because a lot of it's physical. Just having something in your hand. A sucker even. Thomas Little, farmer here. I got to go Monday for colon rectal surgery. Had a polyp that had some cancer behind it. So farmer down. This is supposed to take care of it. I'll be watching you. Well, good luck. I don't know what the fuck all these things on the side of the screen are now. Everything is so different on YouTube. I don't dare push any of them. Quitting smoking is hard. I hope you can do it. Smoked for over 50 years. I quit. It was hard. Yeah, it's definitely not easy. I've been trying these Zippix toothpicks that are infused with nicotine. They do help. Like I said, Zins do work. Yeah, Zins is, Adam, is similar to that Alp. And like I said, I just ordered some of that, tried that, and I don't even use a lot of that. I thought I'd be pounding on that. You get your choice of 3, 6, or 9 milligram nicotine. I went with the middle, the 6. And like I said, if I throw one of them in my mouth 3, 4 times a day at the most, that's all I've been doing. So, hey buddy, I bet you can't say the actual all-time worst thing about smoking. What? Hey buddy, I bet you can't say the actual ALTL time worst thing about smoking. Well, I don't know what you're trying to say there. So, we'll keep trying, James. Farmer, drop a link. God, don't tell me how to do things here, because I'm bad enough to start with. You have to set up co-live before you start. Yeah, well, don't know anything about that neither. I'll have to have Barb look into it sometime. She's the IT person. I smoked from 14 to 61, then I quit. So much better life. It can be done. Yep. Well, I started when I was like 17, so I'll be 59 in the spring. Since I quit, when I go into my shop now, the damn urge is so damn strong, it really smells good. But no, it is not good for my 70 plus year out that quit many times over the years. This is the worst for me. Yep, Lando, we had a good Christmas. Have you ever heard of land patents? What about them? What's up, Keith? Merry Christmas to you, too. Yeah, I'm just drinking water, too, because that's the other thing I need to, the way I've felt for the past 10 days, I need to drink a lot more water than what I have been. So, what's the longest you went without smoking prior to this? This is probably it, to be honest. I'm not sure. You know, probably when I was younger, 30s, I may have tried to quit once and went a few months or something. But it's a different ball game now when you get older, because you want to quit more than what you did back then. Lloyd Nay says, I tried to use suckers to quit one time. All it did was just increase the amount of sugar that I was taking into my body. Wasn't that great. Does Barb ever go hunting with you? No, she hasn't hunted in years. Super Gringo, I have a question. Do you actually think that tard on your last video is actually peer-reviewed? No. No, old Karen Carroll there. You know, did you see where, well, I was invited to Mar-a-Lago once, but I didn't go. I've been invited to lots of places. Yeah, whatever. Yep, you pretty much let the cat out of the bag as to what a special piece of work you are when you start in with that bullshit. So Josh used 6 and it worked for him. When is your deer season over? Well, actually right now it started today again, the holiday hunt through January 1st. No, Chelsea and I aren't hunting. She's still got the cough too. No, Penny, I won't be quitting because I'm pregnant. I'm a little past that stage of life. Overall, how did the crops yield? Beans, not that great, about 39 bushel the acre. I'm sure the dipshit 2 hours east of us had, best beans in New York State, getting them off Christmas Day. But corn, I'd say we were down 10 to 15%. But all right. Joe Marshall, Grumpy Farmer. Hello, Joe Marshall, Tallahassee, Florida. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you. Same to you, Joe. James Bohm, we did. We had a good Christmas. Yeah, this storm isn't for you, Keith, in Illinois or in Chicago area. This is just a nor'easter type thing. Connecticut, New Jersey, New York City, the city parts, they're all just, that's why I was watching Ryan Hall, just because I like watching the big city people freak out because, oh my God, we could get 8 to 10 inches of snow. What will we do? Plow it tomorrow? I don't know. Life goes on. I switched to the electric cigarette. They're kind of gay, though. When my dad quit, he said he'd delay the first one each day. Eventually, didn't want one. Yeah, being sick, going 3 or 4 days without one, I just said fuck it and just kept going without one. Joe Marshall, been watching me for 4 years. Appreciate it. I'm late. Hope everyone had a Merry Christmas. All right, I'm setting you down for a minute just because my watch was just dinging, so I had to look at the watch. All right, so somebody ask away, ask some questions. I hear a frog in the background. Ribbit, ribbit. No, there's no frog. That's just my voice. They say quitting and starting a bunch of times is almost worse than smoking straight through. Well, I'm hoping that I don't start again. Smoked from 13 to 39, had walking pneumonia and quit cold turkey. Yeah, basically that's what this will be, me quitting cold turkey if I stick with it from being this, having this sickness. So, Adam and Mad Swiss are carrying on a conversation. When we start feeling better, Adam, we're, the 3 of us are going to go use our gift card that you and the family sent us for Christmas. Appreciate you. We actually talked about possibly doing it tomorrow. We'll see how we feel. So that way Barb doesn't have to cook. Used to smoke 100 a day. Stopped on the 1st of January, 1992. Just wished I could lose weight as easy. Go for Grumpy. 100 a day? That just seems... There's 24 hours in a day. You're smoking between 4 and 5 every waking moment of every hour of the day. That's just crazy. I mean, I never even smoked a pack a day when I was smoking, all the time. Yep. Reaching for one after you eat. Yep. A land patent is the original legal document issued by a government to transfer ownership of public land to private individual. Yeah, well, I knew that, Carl. I just didn't know what this person was asking. I didn't want to get into something with somebody who's, you know, trying to be a weirdo or something. I don't know. Lee Harris is telling at Tony Tram, get lost before I throw you out. What do we got? A special one in here? Because I'm behind on comments, obviously. What got you started smoking, Andy? I was a stupid teenager with my stupid teenager friends. Ooh, that's a tough one. What would be more painful, milking cows again or quitting smoking? Well, I definitely don't want to do either again. But if I had my choice, I'd smoke again before I'd milk cows again. Yeah. Stephen Dubois, however you pronounce it. Good day, eh? From Canada. Ah. Ah. Wow. Midway Farms, you've been smoking since you were 7 years old? Well, I'm not saying I don't like it. I just, like I said, I ain't gonna talk shit about anybody that does smoke. So this Tony Tram, go look up a YouTube channel called This Old Farm. He's all about the rainbow lifestyle. So this person sounds special, this Tony Tram. Does he milk the bulls? Hey Mike, how are you? Merry Christmas to you and the family. Yes, I've watched Larson Farms before. Susan Metzger, I had a good friend that farmed over below Sharon Springs. I tried to tell him nicely, quit 30 years ago. He did not want to. He got a growth on his lung like a small football. Nice. What are they paying for a bushel of beans this year? Well, right now, don't quote me what it closed at today because I don't remember. The last beans I sold with basis was 11.04 a bushel. I don't think I can get that now. I think it's about 50 cents less than that right now because they did go down. So somewhere's around, and again, don't quote me, between 10 and 10.50 a bushel. And that's picked up at the farm. That's here. I mean, it's different around the country. Like I told Jeff Remo yesterday. No, yeah, not yesterday. Yesterday was Christmas. Day before yesterday, Christmas Eve. I think it was right before the market closed around noon. I priced a 5,000 bushel contract of corn that I had, and I'm getting $5.25 a bushel picked up at the farm because I had it on basis at plus 75. But that's us here because of the shortage in the Northeast. Yes, Betty, New York City will shut down if they get an inch of snow. Yeah, that's why I was watching Ryan Hall, just because I could laugh at, you know, oh, it looks like it's starting to pick up now down there. You can almost hear him kind of snickering. So next time you go live, call me and I'll let you know how to do it. All right. Fork me now. Good evening. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Sorry you aren't feeling well, but good to see you on tonight. Yeah, feeling better than I was 10 days ago, I can tell you that. Todd Lambert, I was in Boonville, New York in '08, and it snowed 11 inches in a half an hour. Oh, yeah, the Tug Hill area can get, ask Betty Swain. Well, right now, what we're getting, we're in the like 8 to 10 inch range. And earlier, they said it could be, between 1 and 2 inches per hour snowfall rate. Well, it was when I looked out the window before dark. Royal Lioness, it was 80 degrees here in southwest Arkansas on Christmas and today. Ugh. Yeah. And we're about 7 with wind chill. I hope 2026 is a good year for farming. What's for dinner? I already ate leftover ham from yesterday. Lee, you quit cold turkey due to a heart attack. Oof. Yeah, too many people aren't getting it yet, though. Joe, did you bring the pet cricket from the shop inside with you for the live stream tonight? No, no pet cricket. So how was it, Gerald, after 44 years just quitting cold turkey? Because that's basically what I'm doing after 41 years, roughly. And I don't remember when I quit smoking cigarettes. Gotta be at least 10 to 15 years ago. Probably 15 or more, actually. Is when I quit smoking cigarettes and started smoking the little cigars. Not that they're any better for you, but 5 packs a day. Yeah, that's insane. That number from earlier. See, I don't drink any coffee, Joe. Never drank coffee. Tried it when I was younger. Put this much coffee, this much cream and sugar. Couldn't stand it. This much coffee, this much cream and sugar. Couldn't stand it. So I just decided that was a drink that I never needed to drink. So I haven't had a half a cup of coffee in my entire life. I don't drink the cold, the fancy shit you get at Dunkin' Donuts and that kind of coffee. Nope. Just never drank coffee my entire life. So thank you, Lando. I had a great friend that farmed over below Sharon Springs. I tried to tell him to quit. I already read that one. I know someone who smoked 3 packs. He's no longer here. Yeah. I can imagine smoking 3 packs a day. Yes, Ryan Hall, y'all, is more accurate than our local TV stations. So that's why I don't watch him all the time, but when he has something for the Northeast, I'll watch because I know we're involved. So Lloyd says, I had an aunt that lived in Chicago. She died of colon cancer and she smoked cool cigarettes for probably 30 years, if not more. And she was one that would smoke one right after another. Yeah, I was never that person. I smoked Camel Lights years ago, then Marlboro Lights, and then, like I said, I switched to the little cigars. I quit 5 or 6 times. Yeah, I know. Most people, they say it takes multiple times if they're even successful. Dirty Eric, my mom's mother was a literal chimney. She consistently has 3 to 4 cigs lit at one time. She was nasty. Wow. Yeah, that's why I'm using the mental thing on myself that, I don't want to smell like it. I don't want Barb and Chelsea to have to smell it. You know, I'm out on the golf course with my buddies. I'm the only one that smokes. So it's like, and again, like I said, I ain't going to tear down smokers because, you know, I'm not that guy that's, oh, I quit, so now the rest of you are fucking bad people. No. Because, first of all, I'm going to look at smoking as like an alcoholic who, except for we don't have AA meetings for smoking. If I'm still quit a year from now, great, but I'm still going to consider myself a smoker because, you know, I need to go many years of quitting before I can call myself a non-smoker. So 4 packs a day, died at 59. Jesus. Yeah, I tried some pill a number of years ago when Barb and I first got together, and it made me feel like I was just itching all the time. It messed with my head, and I was like, no, nope. Question for Grumpy: was the weather different this year, in your opinion? Um, yeah, I mean, it was definitely. We started out wet as hell in the spring, which led to a lot of prevent plant in New York State. And then about, oh, I don't know, third week of June, Mother Nature turned the water spigot off. And from then until about the 20th of August, we had basically an inch and a half of rain in 7 weeks time, something like that, which is what hurt us. So go get the strongest nicotine patch, leave it on overnight, guarantee you'll not want another cigarette again. Yeah, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. Adam Wagner, what was the hardest part of switching from cows to grain, only for you personally? Um, Really, there wasn't a hard part. It was kind of an easy and, I don't know if relaxing or enjoyable is the right word, but you know how my haters will come in, like the one in a recent video that cracked me up. You know, you only work 4 weeks in the spring and 4 weeks in the fall. Yeah, well, I'm just curious. After May, who's the guy that's doing the spraying and anhydrous and all that shit in June and July? If I'm only working 4 weeks in May, but whatever. But after 25 years of milking cows, it was nice. You still got up early in the morning because that's just ingrained in your head. But I mean, it was nice, like a night like tonight, knowing it's going to be colder than a witch's tit in the morning, the wind blowing, could be God knows what, 8 inches to a foot of snow on the ground. And you don't have to go out to the barn to any frozen water pipes or anything like that, because the older you get, that shit gets old. Climbing up a silo at 5 o'clock in the morning because you're trying to feed cows and the silo and loaders froze. You know, that was one thing when you're 25, 35 years old. But when you're 45 or older, and you know, that just, no. So I've never looked back after I sold the cows. And I was 45 when we got rid of the cows. I smoked 4 packs of Pall Mall's Reds back in the late 70s, 73s, and quit cold turkey when I could not ask for the syrup for my pancakes across the table from my kids. You better put some 180 proof in that cup of coffee. Yeah, just never been a coffee person. Ever smoked corn silk? Nope, don't want to. When is your next live? Well, it's supposed to be the last Friday of January, which I think if I remember is January 30th. I don't have a calendar anywhere near me. You'll have to look that up. So hopefully that night it's not. I mean, could I have got up to Jimmy's tonight? Yes. It's not like I've never driven in this kind of weather, but coming off of being as sick as I was and still not being 100%, it's just, no. It's cold. It's miserable out. It's snowing like hell. So I just said no. My father caught me smoking when I was 11. He made me eat the ones I had left. I never smoked since. And that was in 1959. Different world back then, Well, it's funny because growing up, my father smoked cigarettes when he was younger. Quit cigarettes and smoked cigars. Ever he smoked the big fatties. And he smoked them for years when I was a kid and growing up. And then it was funny when I started smoking, he actually bummed a few cigarettes off me, which I kind of laughed. I was like, yeah, don't get back into that habit and get my mother pissed off at me. Because she was already pissed off at me when she found out I was smoking. You look tired, brother. Well, I mean, I was sick. 102.9 temperature when you're not exactly a spring chicken anymore. It'll kick anyone's ass. I quit smoking when I couldn't climb the hills anymore, deer hunting, yep. Hot toddies would help old remedies. And Carl looked it up. Beans closed today at 10:53. All right. Yeah, Ryan Hall loves to cover the tornadoes and all that stuff too. What is the basis in your area? Last basis for beans when I did sell those beans that I got 1104 for picked up was minus, and don't quote me because I can't remember exactly. It was either minus 40 or minus 45 picked up. I think going into March, because it'll start trading off of March here come January 1st next week, because then, once you get to the last day of the trading day of December, the January goes away and it starts going off March. I think we're minus 40. And right now, as it stands, corn is a plus 75, and that's picked up. He made him sit down and smoke 3 packs of Pall Mall, no filters in a row. Kid never touched another cigarette after that and was sick. Yeah, I can imagine. That is an awesome basis, yeah. Well, we don't normally see a positive basis on corn, trust me. But it's helping make up for the fact that we have less corn to sell because of the drought this summer. If Doofus can get his corn shelled before Easter, he could capitalize on a good basis. Well, that depends, because I'll guarantee you it's probably still 30% moisture or more. And I bet you the test weight really sucks, because most of the test weight around here for corn that was, put in at a reasonable time has been between 50 and 55. Some of what I've been selling has been like 52. The one guy that trucked the last corn that I had go out, that was right before I got sick. He said he had hauled some that was 48. Yeah, I bet you Doofus's is going to start with a 4. So I don't know what Tug Hill is supposed to get. They're not actually in the worst of it. It's more downstream towards the cities and whatnot. Rich B0330. Merry Christmas, Mr. Grumpy from Northwest Indiana. Same to you. Dave H. from Western Canada. Same to you. Yes, let's hope 2026 is good. What time do you wake up? Well, most of the time it's usually by 5:30 now. I have been able to sleep a little later, but you know, the older you get, you gotta pee too. So, and when you had cows, that was one of the first things you always did when you got up in the morning. You went and peed, and then you lit a cigarette or a cigar. So, yeah. Betty Swain, yeah, because Betty's from up north. We don't measure by inches, we measure by feet, yeah. Do you still have snow up there, Betty? Because I know you guys got the 50-degree weather and some rain also. And I know I'm way behind in comments, but it is what it is. Michelle Holt, holy shit, finally caught you live. Hello from Missouri. Well, hello. Coffee tastes like mud. Did the same thing when I was a kid. My mom gave me a try and about puked. Yep, never drank coffee. Couldn't stand it. A lot of people that tried coffee once and never had it again. Well, that sucks, farm guy. I quit smoking 4 years ago. Oh, I quit smoking a year ago. Stage 4 cancer did it, yeah. Carl, your father died of lung cancer at 58. That sucks. Walt Disney smoked 3 packs a day. That was before the BS Disney crap, yeah. Alright, I'm going to skip ahead and catch up with the comments now. Where's your sidekick? I already said that earlier. I just wasn't going to go up the road in this weather. Yeah. Joe, you can ship me some of that heat in the summer when we need it. How's that sound? What's up, John Cox from Binghamton? Grumpy, I know you're still not feeling the greatest, but you're looking great. My husband and I love watching you and appreciate what you try to get across to people. Yeah, well, we'll see how the next video goes. I think I'm going to title it TDS is a Real Thing or something like that, because I went out to the shop this morning and had about a 10-minute mental breakdown on video just because of some of the shit that, I mean, yesterday being Christmas, it amazed me at the people that would go back to the last video or a couple of videos ago just to get their comment in about how bad their TDS was, basically. On Christmas Day, I'm thinking, it's fucking Christmas, people. You got nothing better to do? Oh, whatever. All right, so I know I had said in the video leading up to this that we were going to do this live stream and make it into a Q&A type thing. I had a story, so I'm going to tell that story. So if I don't go through your comments now, probably one of the funniest Christmases we ever had here. Well, it was funny for me. Oh, let's see. Chelsea was probably 4, 5, so we're talking mid 2000s, 2008, 2009, something like this. I got up that morning. What is Lloyd and Ace? They live in a very boring, sad little life, Andy, and this is the way they can yell with others and remain, yeah, the people that showed up yesterday to say things. But so I got up that morning, went out to the barn to do chores. Got out to the barn, fed cows, turned on the gutter cleaner, was running the shit out, getting everything ready to milk. Got the shit run out, got ready to start milking cows, and the milk pump completely just fried. You know, the the impeller on it just sealed up tighter than a you know what. So here we are at like, I don't know what time it was at that point, somewhere between 5:15 and 5:30 in the morning. So I called my electrician, Lee Pitroff. Great man, great man. No longer with us, passed away. You know, he was a couple years younger than my dad, so he'd be he'd be in his early 90s right now if he was still alive. And his wife answers the phone, and I said, "Well, is Lee there?" She goes, "Just a minute." Rolls over and hands him the phone. He goes, "Hello." I go, "Lee." I go, "Got a problem." Yep, that's, and you had to know this guy. Just the most dry humored human being you would ever meet. So he goes, "Yep, I kind of figured." I told him what the problem was, and he goes, "Well, I guess you probably want me to come over then, huh?" I go, "Yeah, Lee, if you could, I'd really appreciate it." "Well, then I guess I probably ought to put my pants on," he says, and he hangs up. I mean, just the driest humor this guy had. So I always had an extra pump on hand and all this stuff. And when it comes to electricity, what I know is plug it in or turn it on. And if it don't work, call somebody, because I don't do electricity, okay? I've got my ass zapped over the years when I was younger, and I don't do electricity. So anyways, he shows up probably, I don't know, 20 minutes later. He only lived probably 10, 11 miles from here, if that even. And that morning was just, if it could go wrong, it went wrong. If we could not get something apart, like the impeller off of the shaft on the motor that burned up, just wires that were toast. I mean, it just, and I never laughed so much on a Christmas morning as what I did with him that morning. And I remember, texting Barb and saying, "Hey, this is what's going on. And in the house here, where the tree was, you got to go down the hallway." She hung a blanket up in the hallway so that Chelsea couldn't get up early like she was going to, because she was a kid wanting to see what Santa brought her, and run down the hall to where the Christmas tree was, because I think she got her first bike that day or that Christmas. But I remember it got to be like, I don't know. I didn't get done with morning chores until almost 11 that morning. Got to be around 9 o'clock or so, and I remember Lee looking at me and kind of laughing with his dry humor, and he goes, "Isn't this what everyone does on a Christmas morning?" He, and he laughs. I mean, it was just, you may not find this story funny, but you had to meet this man. He was a great human being, a great electrician. Some electricians today may not think he was a great electrician because, if he happened to run out of a yellow wire, well, he might have finished the job with a green wire, even though that was supposed to be ground, just to get the job done. And then, now that he's gone, somebody else goes to mess with that wiring and goes, "What is this?" But anyways, it was just, that was quite the morning. And Chelsea held in there, and she waited, and then she finally got to see what Santa brought her. But it was funny. What is this weird symbol that you guys are putting up? Adam put up, and then Carl put up some sort of star thing with an A. Yeah. Oh, there was many times IH Farmer. I can remember having Lee up in the silo with me, because the silo unloader, them big 10-horse ball doors that were on the Pat silo unloaders would take a shit, and oh my God, it was much easier to try to work on them up in the silo than get a block and tackle and bring them down out of the silo. And yeah, it was. That's why I don't miss the dairy farming. I mean, it's a different ball game today for the big dairy farms that are, bunk silos. And I'm not saying none of them use upright silos anymore, because like Andy Oregon obviously does for high moisture corn, but it's a different ball game. I used to call D. LaVale almost every day on the dairy farm. Yeah, it's amazing the amount of things you'd have to. Two things I don't do: electricity and snapping turtles. Yeah, yeah, me neither. Missouri Rob, biggest regret in your farming career, and what would you do differently? Oh God, I don't know. I can't necessarily say. I guess I had any regrets. I mean, everything you do kind of sets you up for, you know, your future. But oh, what would I do different, if anything? I don't know. I don't think I would do anything different, to be honest. Betty Swain, I won't let my husband try to fix electrical problems either. I make him call someone who knows what they're doing. Exactly. That's how I look at it. I want shit to work. Yeah, well, it used to be that way, Todd, years ago, but then we had silo unloaders. Smart ass Adam. I'd say not buy John Deere instead of Ford New Holland. Yep. Did you square bale and chop all your hay, or did you round bale some? Generally, first cutting was all, no, not all, but first cutting was chopped until the silo was full, and then the rest we'd bale. Second cutting was all baled, small squares. Third cutting, we'd chop again to refill the silo, and then bale whatever was left. So I had a decent hay market for first cutting for horses around here. Buck's Hot Hill Farm, 10 hours without power. Well, that sucks. What do you think is going to happen to grocery prices next year, since the weather was kind of crappy this year? I think prices are going to continue to go down just like they are now. James Atkinson, as my dad said, you don't pick your career, or your career picks you. Well, I mean, growing up on a farm, it was kind of a natural next step, I guess you could say, going into the farming. All right, that's exactly why we pay the big bucks to those people, because you're like me, Andy, you want things to work and don't want to have to redo and possibly get popped. Exactly. Exactly. I just don't, I'm not an electrical person. It's like on a piece of farm equipment, a tractor, something like that. If it's got to do with electronics, no, because I don't want to mess it up worse. Always happy when we went to corn silage. Easier to unload and smelled so good. Yep, I'll agree with that. Because I always hated the first week after we filled the silo, after we get it leveled off. Go up it every day to make sure it was, help it get around until it got good and packed and leveled off really good so that the silo unloader wouldn't get stuck. Yep. And haylage, it would get stuck way more often than it would on corn silage. All right, Andy, I wanted to know, I asked before, but I think you overlooked it. Do you think that Trump's plans for the farmers are going to help? Have they started, or have you heard anything? It's not this. payment thing is not supposed to happen until February, from what I understand. That's the only thing I've heard. I've heard as much as all of you have heard. So, is it going to do anything? Not if prices don't. It's not the commodity prices, it's the input prices. I mean, I've already ordered my seed for 2026. Do you think it was cheaper than what 2025 was? No. I mean, there's got to be a come to Jesus moment when it comes to the price of things sooner or later. I also heard a thing the other day where some senators or congresspeople, whatever, hang on, sorry. We're talking about how, oh, well, maybe we need a bailout for the big companies, the ag companies. Are you kidding me? I mean, maybe the CEO shouldn't be making millions of dollars a year if their company is all of a sudden supposedly in bad shape. Because there ain't none of us farmers that are getting paid, millions of dollars a year. Maybe they shouldn't be getting millions of dollars a year bonuses. Anybody can argue with me all you want, and this wasn't supposed to turn into this type of, you know, live stream, but it's the totem pole thing. We're on the bottom of it. Everybody above us has a business plan. They're going to make 2%, whatever, more than they did last year, come hell or high water. So that means somebody's not. And that's those of us on the bottom of the totem pole who, without us, the ones above us, don't have a job in the first place. End of story. You can argue against me. We're welfare queens, whatever. I don't give a fuck, because that's the end of the story right there. And do away with all of us, and let's see what happens. You're not going to like the end result. So again, and I had to log off for a minute. The wife saw a mouse in the kitchen. That's funny. Poo Guru, we're seeing gas for $2.51 a gallon in our town. Yeah, gas keeps going down. It's at its lowest level now nationally since the last time Trump was president. But that's still not good enough for some people. I say this in the video that I'm in the process of making right now that I'll probably finish tomorrow. Well, excuse me, when I go out to see how much snow we got and if I got to plow in the morning. What's your number, people? I mean, the far right is getting to be as asinine as the far left in this country. But what is your number? What will make you happy? Because the fact that the national average price for gas is the lowest it's been since Trump was president before isn't good enough for you. People aren't going to jail fast enough for you. The Epstein shit's not good enough for you. One person actually was dumb enough to say that, we're not getting the mass deportations that Trump promised. Oh, we're not? Deportations are at a record level. I mean, what's your number? What's going to be good enough for you, for one man who doesn't have a magic wand and is working against both Democrat and Republicans in Washington, D.C., but is getting a shit ton done? 4.3% GDP increase in quarter three, when all the economists, the experts said, oh, that's not going to happen. No, no, no. They were shocked. But what's your number? What's good enough for you to stop siding with the fucking Democrats? Because that's what you're doing when you keep trashing, Trump's not good enough. He ain't doing things fast enough. I don't want nothing to do with you if you're going to be that person, to be perfectly honest with you. So you're right, Carl. Stupid doesn't have a political affiliation. So it's just, I don't know. So stay tuned for the video that'll probably be out maybe Sunday, Monday. I don't know, whenever Barb gets around to getting it out. I was trying to stick to the 4 day routine. And I'm not going to lie, now that I'm monetized, it's nice to make a couple bucks doing this. So if we stuck to the 4 day routine, but I'm not going to, no, I'm not that person that has to pump out as many YouTube videos as I can because I'm trying to make the big YouTube money. I'm one of the few that's willing to talk about the shit that most of the fucking farmers don't want to talk about. And that's, and then I pay the price for it with the Looney Tunes that come in that, you're just a welfare queen. And Chubby, did you get your welfare check yet? You know what? When I get it, oh well, I got it. They want to give me another one sometime later in 26. I'll be happy to take that one too. So you can kiss my ass because I'm done with all the bullshit. Exactly. Too many corporate welfare kings. Well, that's what I try to explain in the one video. Everyday life is subsidized. For those of you who've never been into politics before, you obviously, if you've been here long enough, know I was on my county legislature for 8 years. The pilot programs, just like what they're spelled, PILOT, payment in lieu of taxes. These businesses that move into places and get these pilot programs, you know, it, it's that's a subsidy, folks. And then when it comes time for those pilot programs to end and they need to start paying their taxes, you know what a lot of those companies do? If they're in a high tax state like New York, they leave. They don't give a shit. It's worth their while to leave their infrastructure behind. It's like our county when we put up a solar project on county property. I said we needed to get a huge bond because this is how it works on these solar things. Just so that somebody just wrote Micron, which we'll see if that ever actually happens. This is how the solar thing works, folks. There's like 4 or 5 companies that are involved. Okay, 20 years from now, when it comes time to decommission, that's the 4th or 5th company down the line, who may not even be in business by then, unless you get a big enough bond up front. And what I mean by that is, when it comes time to decommission that, I wanted to have like a 10 or 20 million dollars that we were going to have to pay for decommission when that fucking company isn't around anymore, because I'll bet you I won't be here in 20 years. I'll be in some other state, but I'll bet you that company won't be around when it comes time to decommission the one here in my county. But when you only get a small, like $1 million or $2 million that won't cover the cost of decommission, guess who pays for that decommission? You, the taxpayers. Well, if you ask for too much money up front, then they won't build it. Well, if it's such a great fucking deal, then they should still build it, then, shouldn't they? Even if they have to put up enough money up front to make sure that there's money there for the decommissioning in 20 years. So, and I'm just a dumbass farmer. So, did you see Trump gave military bonuses? Good on him for that, and left won't give credit for that. Exactly. Good on him for that. Happy birthday, Andy's mom. Yeah, she's sleeping, Albert. So, yep, I saw that Trump was giving him the 1776. Kind of a, perfect number for. Joe Marshall always say stupid people that leave bad comments are like donkeys in the barn. They never get out. Yeah. Yeah. Take some of my VA money to treat Barb to something nice. Well, appreciate it, Eric. Appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know where the hell Chuck is tonight. I guess I should have got a hold of him on Instagram before tonight. He must have forgot. I'm glad gas went down in Michigan. We will see a 69% increase. That will put us in the 10 highest price for fuel states. Yeah, that's because you guys, the gas tax. That's right, Betty. It's good for your economy up in Fort Drum. Yep. And it's good for our troops for what they have to deal with. I mean, you got them 6 dumbasses that are trying to tell our troops, oh, you shouldn't listen to your commander in chief. You know, if he gives illegal, anybody ever get an example of him supposedly giving out illegal or unlawful orders? No, no. Well, we're just saying that in case he does. Jesus, I'm telling you. Jim Olson, no way a farmer still in business is dumb. No way, I'm assuming you meant. So on all these data centers, what happens when they go to shit and they just walk away from it? Same with wind farm. That's my point. That's my point. I don't know. That's why, like with these solar and wind things, you got to get big money guaranteed up front to decommission these things. And as far as these data centers and these chip centers and all this stuff, you got me. I mean, it's kind of a scary thought. Michigan farming. Did you ever have a 2-cylinder John Deere? Me personally, no. My father, yes. Many. Deport Omar, yeah. Mark Kelly needs to rot in prison, yeah. I am very concerned with the expansion of Islam into as some American cities. You're not alone. Voted for King Trump 3 times. Well, who we got now? Lloyd Nace. Thanks, Lloyd. Appreciate it. For you and Barb to add to that. 50 really have a good time. Maybe we could hope for another baby. Oh, fuck no. After that, a fancy meal, a bottle of wine, things can happen. No, 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 no. We're a little past that stage in life. So, yeah. Getting zapped with radiation ain't fun. 76 yesterday, gonna be 30s Monday. I can't get sick. Yeah, that weather, that's crazy. Those weather swings. I don't know if they're digging it yet or not, Dick. That whole thing I'll believe when it happens. Let's just put it that way. I mean, you're talking about, okay, for those of you who don't know, okay, central New York area where Micron is supposed to go, which is about, what do you estimate? The Dick Steele, 20 miles? Somewhere between 20 and 25 miles east, almost directly east of me, basically. A little northeast of you, Weedsport area. So now they've got to dig, and we're talking about a pipe that you can walk in. Okay, it's 6 foot tall, 6 foot diameter pipe. So how far underground that has to go, I'm not sure. From there all the way to Lake Ontario, which is at least 30 miles for their water source for this Micron chip plant. Now, I'm going to assume this pipe will be full when it's running from Lake Ontario to Micron. 6 foot diameter pipe. That's a big pipe running underground. And to get to Lake Ontario, how many roads does it have to go under? How much private property does it have to go through? I mean, I'll still believe it when it all happens. Let's put it that way. State troopers shot twice in DMV here in Delaware 2 days before telling us who shooter was. No social media on him. Some Christmas for wife and child. Yeah, well, you know why they probably didn't say who it was. It's just like on Instagram when I see those kind of things. And they don't tell you who it is. And then it comes out a day or two later. It's because they don't look like me that did the shooting. That's why. They don't fit that white racist, that that white nationalist, that you get the drift. So all the construction already on 81 and 481 is a nightmare. Now they're going to build exits for Micron. Horrible. Yeah, exactly, buddy. Where would the water go once they got it there? Back to the lake? That's the other big question that's never been answered. Where does all the wastewater go? Okay, Liz H4P Q&A. Did Barb grow up on a farm? Kind of. It was like a little, they owned, because when their family owned it, when her and I first got together, I actually rented the land. 40 acres or so over there of tillable ground plus woods, and they had some, like a cow and some pigs and chickens and shit like that, but not a bigger working farm, let's put it that way. So, being one step ahead of time is the key, rather. Whoops. It be crypto, gold, or silver. I think in 10 years it will be medical malpractice to recommend a plant diet. If you know, you know. Well, you say that pipe is underground, but how far down do your property rights go? Can they legally dig underneath your property? This is all questions that need to be answered. So, what's Micron, Grumpy? It's a big chip company. Microchip. Look up Micron in, is it Idaho? They've already got one plant, Idaho or Utah. They've already got one plant out there. They're in the process of building a second one out there. And then they're supposed to build the one here in New York that was actually supposed to be built before the second one out there. But all of a sudden they couldn't do the one here first. They needed to go do that second one, which tells me this one may not ever get done, but whatever. I agree with you, 1911 USA. I think most people that grew up on a farm have a better work ethic. Well, I won't disagree with that. What cracks me up, though, is the ones that will come in here, the haters or the young farmers that are in their 20s or early 30s, and sit there and bitch at somebody like me or Jeff Ramo. Like, we should still be able to do everything that they do. Okay, well, you'll get old someday too, so. That is why they are buying up people's property. They just bought up a 90-year-old woman's property for $3 million. She didn't want to sell it. Wow. Micron just closed the chip plant in Arizona about 2 years ago. Doesn't surprise me. Yes, Lloyd and Ace, they got like $7 billion from Chuck E. Schumer. Yep. Well, from Chucky, but you know where it came from. We, the taxpayers. But $7 billion's a pimple on an elephant's ass for a company like that. So when those pilot program type things run out, we'll see if they're still here. Eminent domain, and if you don't own your mineral rights, you don't actually own the dirt under your feet. You own the right to occupy it. They have more help and machines. We didn't. We have a data center coming to Shelbyville, Indiana. They paid $43 million for the ground. Someone's belly got scratched hard. It's sad to see farm ground going to waste. Yep. Most of the younger farmers have never seen a downturn till now. Chucky needs to go. Yeah, I'll agree with that. supposedly they were offering 140,000 per acre here in Michigan. The town I live in for a data center, they retracted that. They offer 3 times. We're not giving in. What was your favorite growing up? What was my favorite what, Adam? I wish Elise was still running for governor. I'm not sure what happened there. I think she just knew it was going to be a tough run. They got a new kid. Am I taking any meds? I mean, I was on antibiotics for a week. I was on a cough syrup with codeine in it, which got rid of the nonstop cough. I mean, I take vitamins and shit like that, over-the-counter stuff. Less farms, input costs go up because those input producers will still want to make that profit. Exactly, Carl. Did you ever get a Red Ryder BB gun for Christmas? No, I don't think I ever did, but I remember getting wasn't it called Red Ryder that made remember the little red wagons? But they also made that little red sled with the metal, it was like an ice skate bottom or rails on it, and they had the little wood pegs on the end that you could turn with your feet or your hands. Got one of them. They are placing data centers where there is no noise ordinance. I'll bet you that these young gun farmers that judge these old guys have never put up 50 wagons of square bales in a barn either. They're all doing round bales today. Yeah, exactly. I remember when Main and Pinckney, the New Holland dealer, offered to bring out a round baler just to try it. And a neighbor in Ira had a wrapper. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna wrap some baleage and try it. God, that was so much nicer than having to handle all that shit by hand. Yeah. And I would just feed it out in the pasture in the big round bale feeders. Wasn't a perfect way of doing things, but Western Flyer, is that what it was called? I can't remember what it was called. I remember you had the little red wagon, but then they also had that sled with the ice rails on the bottom, and had the little 2 wooden pegs there that you could, if you laid on it, you steered it with your hand, one on each one, or if you sat on it, you used your feet. Yeah, they were great for like going down the hill on the road here when you get hard packed snow. They weren't that great out in the field on a hill unless you got a trail really hard packed made. But boy, on the road, whoo, you pretty much kill yourself on that thing. And I think I still got it in the shed next to the house here. And those sleds would also do a hell of a number on you if you got hit by it. Yeah, exactly. Ask ChatGPT. The sled is in my garage, hanging on the wall. It's missing a couple of boards, but so am I. I'm 72. A cow stepped on it. That's a bummer. Especially in Ramona, Oklahoma. We went so fast. So did car hoods. Yep. You ever slide down a hill on a shovel? The old scoop shovels like we used for grain? Yeah, you get whipping on one of them too. You get a hard pack trail enough, garbage bag, you can pretty much use anything. I'm just getting here. What did I miss? Well, I don't know, Josh. You've missed a lot of talking, I guess. What the hell time is it anyhow? Holy shit, I've been doing this for an hour and a half. I was just going to get on and tell you all my one story and tell you that we weren't doing it tonight like normal because of the way the weather was. The grain shovels, yep. Chat GPT is like prosecuting yourself into submission. Oh, God. I'm going to have to get that sled out now just to look at it and see if I can still see a name on it. Yeah, we used to pull an inner tube around too. 4 horsemen. Well, I hope you had a good Christmas and a happy New Year to you too. Today's kids would never survived our childhoods. No, they wouldn't have. Some of the crazy shit we did on snowmobiles in the winter and our dirt bikes in the summer. I don't know how I'm still sitting here, to be honest. Wiped out dirt bike one time, took a chunk out of my ankle. Went in the house bleeding like a son of a bitch, stripping my clothes off to get in the shower to try and wash the blood off. My mother's like, "What are you doing?" I go, "Look, oh my God." Yeah. Dr. Doulis. It may sound mean, but dairy farmers got lazy from the early 60s. Or were we damn stupid? No, we didn't get lazy. Times changed. Things got more modern. And the dairy farming today is more modern than when I sold my cows. 15? When did I sell my cows? 16 years ago? So it's just the way it is. SV Thora Sailing, good night. The shovel was fun until it turned around and dumped you, yeah, and you got smacked upside the head by the handle. Good night, everyone. Happy New Year. Good night, Lee. I remember the local doctor giving you a tetanus shot on the side of the road. Yeah, the Dick Steel racing sleds from Flojo's to Milk Station. The last one buys, yeah. Yeah, well, we used to do that with our vehicles too, from the Milk Station to Auburn. Yeah. That resulted in a few tickets. They tend to frown on 105 and a 55 on 34. Yeah, that one cost me a lot of money because the judge says I don't believe in taking away licenses, young man. Bring your checkbook next month when you come back. Okay. So that one cost me a lot of money. What's the craziest thing you've done on a snowmobile? I'd say just go way faster than I ever should. Try and jump shit that I ever should. I mean, if we filmed some of the shit that we did, we were Nitro Circus before Nitro Circus, let's put it that way. 40 years ago. So we just didn't perfect it like they did with snowmobiles and motorcycles. Yeah. Yes, I hate the gas cans of today. Did you ever go to Curly's Bar? Oh, hell yeah. Went to every bar there was in Auburn, New York, trust me. So, you obviously, since you asked that question, you remember the winner's circle. Yeah, that was, yeah, we had many races to the winner's circle, which, looking back on it, never, you've been drinking and you're doing 100 miles an hour on the road to get to the next bar. Not a really smart idea. So, the only good thing about it was you knew most of the cops back then, so you may have gotten some speeding tickets, but that was about it. Oh, same here, Josh. I mean, the sheriff's deputies that we had when I was growing up, you couldn't do the shit that we did. You could not get a sheriff's deputy to pull you over in front of a post office, have you park your vehicle, take your keys and you home, unlock your door, throw your ass drunk into your house, and show up the next morning when they were off duty to take you back to said car. And your mother is going, why is deputy so and so in our yard right now? And oh, by the way, where's your car? Yeah, that's why he's here. So I'm not exactly sure where my car is, but that's why he's here, because he's going to take me to it. But yeah, you could not get away with that shit today. Like I said, I could write a book. Yeah, there was no sponge pit to land in, Rob. I went over ass over tea kettle backwards like this on a snowmobile numerous times. And you just pushed it away from you and said, I hope the snow is soft when I land. Oh, God, years ago for snowmobiles, we had John Deere snowmobiles when they were out in the 70s. Arctic had, I had a Jag, we had the old Panthers. I had a Trail Cat when they started, making the snowmobiles with better suspensions on them. And then I switched to Skidoo in the 80s and just was always with Skidoo after that. Snowmobile stories, let's go. There's a lot of them. I mean, it was NASCAR. From bar to bar, it was NASCAR. And I mean, if you know our area here, okay, we'd go to Baldwinsville. There was this one bar in the little mall area in Baldwinsville called Fin and Feather. We'd go from there to Lysander to the old Tack and Hammer, Flo Joe's, for those of you who didn't know the Tack and Hammer when my uncle owned it. And then over to Cato to the hotel. And I mean, you're talking 30-mile or more round trip, and it was just balls to the wall. I mean, you'd come into a corner sliding sideways, and somebody try to take you on the inside, and they'd just slam right into the side of you and push you off into the trees and keep going. You'd pull yourself out of the trees, and you'd go after them for the next corner. And it was just, yeah. And then we got up and milked cows the next day. And we did that many, many nights a week back when we had real winters. So I can't do that shit anymore. Not even if I tried. I remember one night going through the four corners of Cato over here. Of course, the speed limit's 30, right through the four corners where the light is. On my snowmobile, I had a mural painted on the back of my helmet. Yeah, I remember and I won't use the sheriff's deputies' names. Same guy that had me park my car, took me home, and picked me up the next morning and took me back to my car. He made it a point to call me, and I know it was you son of a bitch, doing 95 through the four corners, because you're the only one I know of that's got that mural on the helmet. I got a new helmet after that. Yeah, no more mural. So we did what do you want to call it? Scavenger hunt after my senior year of high school. And the grand prize, the thing that basically made you win it, bringing it back to where we started at this camp down on Cross Lake, was if you got a cop car. Yeah, you can guess who made that one happen. Yeah. I wanted to win, so used to ride to Cato and Fairhaven all the time. We must have crossed paths. Oh, I'm sure we did. I'm sure we did. I think Rupp bought out Alouette. Alouette was made in Canada. I also had a Yamaha SS440. If I remember correctly, it was a strong running sled back in the day. Yamaha had good sleds. No, we don't get the snow that we got in the 70s and 80s. I mean, last year we had over 100 inches again. This year we've had a decent amount of snow so far, but then we had the 3 days of 50-degree weather and rain, and it all disappeared, and now we're starting back up again. So it's weird. Back in the 70s, we would get snow, and it would just stay, and we were on our way. Chuck is in. Timmy the retard. I was just getting ready to get out of here, Chuck. You're late tonight, buddy. There's still 400 people in here. 8:46. I may have to go get another glass of water here. Put you down for a minute while I do that at least. Back in the 70s, I rode with a county deputy every Friday night and drove many friends' cars home when they tipped too many. Yeah. Hi, Andy. Hope you had a Merry Christmas. It's 60 degrees here in Ohio today. Huh. Timmy the retard. That cracks me up. That little Rupp 440 that I had, and that was one hell of a little sled. I could get going down a straightaway on the river, doing 65 to 70, fun racing everyone. Well, I need to go out and get some more water. So why don't we take the phone with us? Why don't we go ask Barb and Chelsea what their favorite Christmas gifts this year was? See what they have to say. Let's go for a walk. Oh, my knees hurt from sitting there. Okay, I'm live streaming, just so you know. Coming to ask what you guys thought was your favorite Christmas gift. Chelsea, what was your favorite Christmas gift?
Probably my iPad.
Chelsea's iPad. Barb, what was your favorite Christmas gift?
My griddle.
Her griddle. Barb got a griddle. Chelsea got an iPad because she's going to go to, what do you call it, grad school? Get her master's after she graduates after this semester. So I'm getting more water. Then we'll go back to my dungeon for a little bit more. Moxie, what did you get for Christmas? Say something. You're always talking. Now you don't want to talk? Sure, now the cat doesn't want to say anything. Normally, it's all it ever does. Oh, Dirty Eric's back. I gotta see what you had to say. Hi, Barb. Andy's supposed to take you on a date. Oh, she'll know. Trust me. Does she? She sees all this stuff. Jerry DeWitt, after the 77, 78. The snow in east central Illinois. My area really wasn't enough to have one. Had fun while it lasted. Be very, very proud of your daughter, young man. Oh, I am. She wasn't sure what she wanted to do. She's going into her last semester, her senior year, obviously. When they go back, the middle of January, whatever it is. So you have to apply for your 1-year grad school at Lemoyne, and it's very competitive. But being a current student gave her a leg up, and she got accepted, so she's going 1 more year for her master's. Victoria J. ex-boyfriend. We getting drunk? No, not at all. Merry Christmas, Grumpy. Live watching you from Canada here. Cool. So you're the 99% from Canada that I talk about. Because there's that 1% that are cuckoo. What is she majoring? I think you said before, but I don't remember. Social work? No, it's business something or other. Don't ask what the exact title is, because no. What did I get for Christmas? Yeah, I didn't mention that. Went out and asked those two. So Chelsea got her new iPad that she really could use. So, because her old computer was starting to take a shit. Barb got a new griddle, which is important because, when you make pancakes and they start sticking to the griddle, it's time for a new one. And she wanted a new griddle. So what did I get? I got golf balls, which I always like, golf balls. Barb got me a dozen Titleist golf balls that I use. And Chelsea got me, you know what? If I think of it tomorrow when I'm out to the shop, I got to remember this. I got to remember this for tomorrow when I finish filming that video. Chelsea went to Dick's and got, what do they call them on the box? I think it says reloads. It's a dozen golf balls. They're Titleist Pro V1s, but they're used. They're in good shape, don't get me wrong. There might be a little scar on one or another. But then she decorated them herself with her markers. She painted, pictures on them. There's a dinosaur on one, and it's cool. So if I think of it tomorrow, I'll actually show those in the video. So I told her when her and I go golfing, I will make sure I use those specific golf balls. So yeah, now I've missed a bunch of your comments. Most of you are talking about snow and snowmobiles. Masters and what? Something useful, I hope. Yeah, whatever the business thing is that she's doing. Yeah, she ain't going for basket weaving or any of that bullshit. So she's not going to be one of the 49% who don't, who go to college and get a degree in something that they'll never get a job in. Yeah, Super been there, done that. I think we had 6 people on it and hired back in a 30-acre orchard field with a slope. It was good old fun. My griddle is from the 50s. Well, you must have a hell of a good griddle. Oh, yeah, you don't have to worry about that, Eric. There's a pile across the road. Lee liked his 94 XL triple. I had a 97 Skidoo Mach 1 700 triple. Those were the days. And boy, when you pipe those things, going through the woods, the echo. I like getting practical presents. Exactly. That's the way we are. We've mainly been all about Chelsea anyhow over the years. Barb and I could give a shit, to be honest. I mean, get some small things in our stockings like candy and stuff like that. And, you know, one bigger thing, I guess you could say, if you want to call it like that. She needed a new griddle. She got a new griddle. I can always use golf balls. Do you think the USA will look like farmer protests overseas recently in our capital, state, or federal? I have no idea. The difference between here and over there is the overregulation over there is what's killing farmers because of the stupidity, the let's go green bullshit and all that. That's the one nice thing about Trump is like he says, for every new regulation, we're getting rid of two. And Trump's tried to deregulate a lot of the bullshit, and especially in agriculture with Lee Zeldin running the EPA. So our biggest problem here is just the corporations that want to make a they they want to make a fortune. And here's the reality, folks. And some of you, if the haters were in, because they don't come into live streams, at least not during the live, they'll come in after the fact and maybe watch and then leave a stupid comment. Your food is as cheap as it is because of the subsidies that farmers get. So, and it sounds horrible me saying this, but you should actually be happy agriculture is subsidized compared to other countries. I'm just saying. But Boomer 6129, never wanted to see a guy's balls as much as I do now. Well, I'll show you my balls tomorrow. So what is this little sign thing there? I'm still confused. Because here's TIUUUU 752. Hello. And before it is the little star thing with the A. What is that? I'm not hip into all this shit. What is your favorite soup? I'm assuming you're trying to say SOUPM, soupum. What is my favorite soup? I don't know. I like grilled cheese and tomato soup. It's a good old standard. There you go, Mark. Barb's best gift was a whiskey glass with her name on it. Yep. And mine was a John Deere tractor tree ornament, which is hanging from the tree. And she has used your glass, Mark. So everything everybody sends us, we more than appreciate, trust me. So you're never going to see me put dirt in a fucking bottle and try and sell it to you like that idiot out in the Midwest a few years back, or buy this bed because it's the best bed on the market. Buy this shoe because it's the best shoe on the market. And next month I'll try and sell you a different shoe because that's now the new best shoe on the market. Because no, I'll do my reviews of shit that I could actually use on the farm. I'll tell you if I'm like them Ortho Feet work shoes that I bought. I've been meaning to actually do a video on them. The most comfortable work shoes I've ever had. I will definitely be buying another pair, and I have nothing to do with Ortho Feet. If anybody from Ortho Feet is watching and you'd love to sponsor me, great, because your shoes are awesome. But I'm not that guy. For you guys that are coming here and give these super chats and stuff, you're more than appreciated. I've never asked anybody for anything. A text from Texas. Are you in here, Josh? Are you sitting on the patio at 80 degrees tonight watching? Oh, yeah, I was starting to wonder about my hat. You were going to send me my hat, seeing as I gave you one of my hats. How do you like your Kinsey planner? I've always liked the Kinsey planner. Pancakes with bologna in the middle? Ew. That doesn't even sound good. I'm sorry. Tom Anderson, this tablet did an update. Now it doesn't spell correctly when I hit send. You didn't buy Cole's dirt to fix his bad decisions? No, I did not, Mark. No, I did not. What would happen if farmers didn't buy fertilizer one year and next equipment, etc.? I'm sure it would hurt, but might hurt corporation more. Well, that's a great question, but like it or not, you're not going to grow a crop without feeding it. So, am I toying with the idea of cutting down on my dry fertilizer a little bit this year? Yes. Um, I mean, what would solve the problem? And I've said this in videos before, and I don't mean to piss off people who are members of unions, but I'm not a union fan. I'm not advocating farmers unionize. But if farmers across the board in the United States for 1 year, just 1 year, would come springtime not turn the keys on, just leave everything parked. Dairy farmers, it's a little different story. But if dairy farmers across the country for 1 month, just 1 month, dumped all their milk for 1 month, we would not only put this country on its knees, we would put this world on its knees with the lack of production from that 1 month from dairy farmers and crop farmers just not planting anything for a year. South America is not going to make up for what we don't do as far as crops, and there ain't no other country in the world that's going to make up for what we don't do here in this country as far as dairy. So that is the one way the problem will be solved in a heartbeat. And it won't take the 1 month of dairy farmers dumping their milk, and it won't take, farmers will be planting that year, because after they turn the keys off for a week or two and this country and the world knew we were serious, shit would get solved like that, like that. But all right, starting to lose y'all, starting to lose some of you now. We're down to 372. So knowing what you know now, would you do another YouTube channel? Oh, I don't know. No, because I wouldn't change who I am. I mean, let's put it this way. Would it have been nice to be monetized 4 years ago? Yeah, but you notice when I got monetized, when Trump got into office, and Trump basically told Google and the rest of them, your days of fucking censorship, like under the Biden administration, are done. And then all of a sudden, apparently I wasn't harmful content that was harmful to viewers. Because apparently viewers should be able to make up their own mind as to what they want to watch and what they don't want to watch. Yep, farmers are their own worst enemies. If the farmers dumped their milk, the National Guard would invade your farms. I don't know about that. What are they going to do? They going to milk the cows? the problem is, Jerry, getting farmers to do anything together. Because there's too many of them. Just like if, a farmer dies, you see these YouTube videos of, oh, the 5 surrounding neighbors all came together to help harvest the last 200 acres of corn for that widow because, blah, blah, blah. But what they don't show is, and the day after that, all 5 of them were knocking on her door, bidding against each other to try and, buy the farm away from the widow and all that kind of stuff. So it just, there's been questions, Michael. You just weren't here on time. So, holy shit, man. I've been here over 2 hours and I just did not plan on being here this long. So I am going to get out sometime in the next day or two. Well, tomorrow I will finish the video that I'm in the process of doing, where I had my little 10-minute meltdown in the shop today, and I will show you how much snow we got and whether or not I have to plow. And that will probably be out in the next 2 or 3 days. So look for another video out in the next 2 or 3 days. And we will try and figure on January 30th, which I think is the last Friday of January, depending on the weather, to do a live stream again. I don't know. Maybe I'll do one of these once a month by myself every now and then. I mean, seems to get quite a few of you to show up and listen to me bullshit and whatnot. So we'll, I don't know. We'll see. But hope everybody had a good Christmas. Hope everybody has a good New Year. Stay safe. Don't do anything stupid. Stay warm. We'll see how cold it gets. So, and we will see you in the next one.